For me, for Istituto Lorenzo de Medici, our students and our professors are the stars we navigate by. The relationship that ties each of you with the city of Florence is the constellation that brightens up our sky.
Almost everything I've done here has been about art. So it decided where I would do trips, being the Uffizi, the Accademia. I think that it really made me explore Florence more. Well, what drew me to LDM originally was the variety of art classes they offered. So it was like I could do drawing and painting, but the first time I was here there was an intermediate sketchbook class, there was expanding creativity, there was a pastel class, and then that's also part of the reason I came back is because there were all of the classes I did last time, I could just take the follow-up classes.
A course like this is very interesting as a teacher to see how the work of the students change throughout the semester. This course is very and highly experimental, so they have to be ready to change their mind, they have to be ready to accept the unpredictable. And for me as a teacher, this detail, this kind of characteristic is very, very important.
Hi, I'm McKenna Overholt. I am an artist from Colorado in the United States, and this is my project for our major projects class. With this project, I am focusing on 2 large paintings that depicts my feeling of being alive, and I have depicted that through this juxtaposition between realism and then abstract elements, and I'm really often inspired by these nature-like components and bright colors and how that reflects that feeling of liveliness. And in my work, I am very inspired by classical techniques of realism, I guess, and I love art history as well, and through my experience in Florence, I have found that to be a really big inspiration, but I love to take a more modern and abstract twist to that, so I feel like that is reflected through this work as well, and yeah.
So my name is Lily Lusso, and here in Major Projects in Fine Arts I'm working on this big painting, a large canvas. It came through a lot of different experiments and techniques, but mostly what I use is what I've learned in my restoration classes and art history and all sorts of techniques.
The profession of a conservator involves scientific knowledge. We start with diagnostic testing, chemical analysis, and investigation on the state of conservation and the technique of execution of the artwork. But it also develops the skills in artistic and stylistic ability, because the students also work in cleaning the artworks, in retouching, in plastering, in retouching, so they have to become artists themselves.
Is something that a customer might really value, and it's important to kind of distinguish ourselves from a coach to kind of get those true loyal customers that we are really targeting, because this campaign, in order for it to be successful, we have to target. I worked alongside a Florentine company based here in Florence, focusing on luxury leather goods, and basically the project was to create a marketing strategy for their customers in New York, because they're trying to grow their stores and grow their visibility in that market. So being that I'm from New York City, they wanted to bring me along, and I worked with the team at Horizonte at their offices in order to create a final project which gave them a strategy that they could use for their stores.
I'm Alessandro Lorenzo, I'm a professor at Lorenzo de Medici, and I do teach communication and leadership and intercultural communication. The question is, what makes a good leader? It's a complicated question, because outside of the technicalities, you need to have a vision, you need to see a change, and you need to bring people over to that change. I think these days what makes a really good leader is the ability to listen to people. We are increasingly interconnected, and it's complicated to understand what really has to be changed for people to follow you and to really become a leader.
I'm Jerry Calabrese, and I'd like to tell you about an important new program here at LDM. It's called Integrated Media Studies, and I'm very excited to lead this new effort. I spent the better part of 5 decades in media, working as a journalist in daily newspapers, a magazine publisher, and an executive working with some of the world's most important pop cultural brands, like Marvel, NASCAR, Playboy Enterprises, and Lionel. And one of the most important things I learned over the course of my career is that media's most important constant is change. But today's changes aren't about new companies overtaking older rivals. They're about the literal reinvention of the systems that generate and distribute news and information. And they're so profound that they've disrupted or destroyed legacy media empires, along with the cultural and legal norms and customs that have governed them since the dawn of modern media. One of the most disturbing changes has been new media's determination to devalue or even eliminate human input and oversight in this model for a brave new world. At LDM, we believe that our most important mission is to help students understand that this new emerging media landscape demands even more human input, greater stewardship than was required in the old one. Here in Florence, starting in the fall of 2022, drawing on my own personal and professional experiences, I'll conduct a masterclass for students who are considering careers in the field. And I can't think of a better place to do that, because as much as things change, they often remain remarkably the same. More than 600 years ago, the concept of humanism was born right here in Florence. That radical idea that man should be inspired by art, informed by science, and motivated by compassion. Humanism was a very big idea, but it's also one that I believe has more relevance to media and communications right now than ever before in history. Too often, the larger concept of communications is broken into smaller, artificial pieces. How editorial content is generated, what is advertising, why and how information is disseminated, and the rapidly evolving science of how companies make money with data are often taught with little or no explanation of how they relate to each other, or what impact they have on the society in which they live. Not only does this offer a less than complete understanding of the purpose and power of media, it can create a sense of isolation. So students often end up believing that they're powerless to make important individual contributions, or to have a personal sense of ethics and responsibility. To make our new program even more relevant and valuable for students, prominent media professionals will appear as guests, giving students a greater understanding of what they do, why they do it, and how they see the future of media, and also providing a better understanding of the pathways to successful careers. We're very excited about our new integrated media program, and I hope you will be too.
Medici, Sophia and I had the opportunity to be part of an internship about sustainable fashion and marketing, and we were able to create a platform named Flow Mode.
Well, Flow Mode is a project that aims to provide knowledge to all fashion supporters into guiding them into choosing a more sustainable path. Well, for me, Florence is a city full of art, passion, and heritage. From the Renaissance to the present year, many craftsmanships have evolved and have become part of the culture, not only of Florence, but of the whole country.
For me, Florence is a city where you could express yourself freely through the arts, whether it's how you dress, how you speak, your perspective through everything, and I think that is super important into our knowledge.
Sustainability means sustain others. So students through this project have discovered that they can sustain a local community they are part of, even for a very short period of time.
My name is Sadie Chalice. This is fashion styling. We are right now on the set for our final project photo shoot. We are doing a 70s vintage inspired shoot with the theme of sustainability.
Yeah, we kind of used our own experience from when we first arrived here and kind of looked at those like big touristy areas that we first went to when we came to Florence for the first time to kind of capture that energy of like seeing these like grand amazing things for the first time and kind of like how it felt, how exciting it was, and things like that.
A fashion communicator should be able to understand our times, so should be able to read and interpret all the cultural elements that compose our society, not only in terms of fashion, but in terms of culture, in terms of daily life, and so be able to read the global and the variety of cultures that are part of our society.
Some Grief Shows Much of Love is a study of director Franco Zeffirelli's 1968 cinematic masterpiece Romeo and Juliet. The film uses contrasts to explore the vast range of emotions in Shakespeare's classic tale of star-crossed lovers. This exhibition explores the contrasts between joy and sorrow, love and loss, light and dark, by bringing visitors into the world of the film. Walk through the courtyard and experience the delight and excitement that thrive in the first scenes of the film. Then, enter the corridor to discover the consequences of the lovers' divided loyalties and their devotion to one another.
So I come into the process not necessarily as a teacher, I come as a curator, as a working artist, as a working event manager. And so that means I come in with a lot of history of knowing how to work with groups. And for me, the pleasure is helping those students be heard, helping them find their voice. I really understand what they're going through. I know how challenging collective creation processes can be because that's my history, that's my background. And all of us go through it when you have an incredible idea and then it starts to face challenges and blocks, or someone wants something different, you have different visions. It can feel incredibly heartbreaking because our art, our vision, they really are like our children. So when we start to face those compromises, it can be really confronting, and I understand that. So something that was really a pleasure for me was being able to teach that also this emotional process that we go through, also this incredible attachment, this a little bit of heartbreak, it's part of the process, but one of the skills that we learn that makes us brilliant art makers, curators, collaborators is adaptability, and realizing that often the outcomes that come through compromise are more incredible than the original idea.
My name is Josh Malad. I am a 3D CAD designer, and I came here to Florence 9 months ago to start my handmaking career. And I've made so many pieces in the classes with so many different wonderful teachers. They have been very inspiring and motivating, helpful, kind, patient, just the best teachers that you could ask for.
What has changed for me since living in Florence is a lot. Firenze is the place I first learned to be an adult, moving here at 18. I'm the first in my family to ever be educated, so for me to be able to study at Lorenzo de Medici is quite an honor. And I've just continued to use my education, which I received here today. I actually sometimes work at an elementary school to help promote education, as well as in an art gallery. So my studies have gone far. I'm also just really overwhelmed, so I can't complete full sentences. But things that I continue to practice every day is to love art and to practice being a global citizen of the world,
As educators, we have the duty to understand our students' talents and ambitions and help them to express them. We believe in dialogue and human interaction as a way to spark each other's light, to enrich each other's existence. During this time, you gave us the chance to get to know you, to be surrounded by your creativity, your art, your visions, your dreams, by your precious selves. And that's the strength of LDM, the desire and the commitment to see each of you turn into your truest self, become truly yourself within a newfound humanistic society where art and the humanities are not just invaluable tools to express personal desires and ambitions, but a common ground for all of us and the only way to better our society. This is why you have traveled to Florence. This, as educator, is our commitment to each and every one of you. Today, it's an honor for us to see your light shine to its brightest.